thanks for stopping by Open House 2020. My name is Doug Sikorsky, and I am your Students Honors Algebra 2 teacher this year. And whether it is virtual or in person or anything in between, I'm just really excited to help your student learn all the ins and outs of Algebra 2 this year. So I know this is probably the maybe sixth, seventh, or eighth video you're watching, so I'll try and keep it short. Just want to do a quick introduction to who I am. As I said before, my name is Doug Sikorsky. Most of the kids call me Mr. Ski, and I am in my sixth year of teaching, all of which have been at Conard. I graduated from UConn in 2015, and I live in a small town called Terryville, about half an hour away from here. And what you'll hopefully learn, and maybe you already have from your student, is that I have a tremendous passion for learning and for teaching. I basically from a young age knew I wanted to be a teacher. So in a strange way, this is sort of a dream come true. I really love helping kids understand, what makes them tick, and maybe based on the topic, help them through a struggle or help them through a triumph and help them learn even more. So that's one of my big passions. I am also very interested in math mindset. So I'm interested to know how your student thinks about learning math and how, if maybe it was a struggle in the past, we can make it better. For my spare time, I am a volleyball coach here at Conard, and I still play myself to this day. So my focus is for this year, number one, first and foremost, is the overall well-being of your student. And whether it's academic or just their emotional well-being, how they're doing, right? That's my number one priority. Everything else will come into place if that first thing is taken care of. So my one of my other focuses is to reignite an excitement for learning, because I realized that last spring was very strange, and last spring was a different experience for every family. So what I'm trying to do this year is relight the fire of learning and make sure that this is the best year I can make it for all the students. And that being said, a rich curriculum is something I'm focusing on. And in some weird ways, this year is actually, I think, a better year of Honors Algebra 2 than any year in the past. We don't see the kids every year, every day, but that doesn't mean that we can't dive deep into some of the big ideas of the course. And because I have a virtual component and an in-person component, there's certain things that I actually think we're learning better this year because of the technology, and other things are best learned in person. So we're very flexible this year, flexible with some due dates, flexible with instruction, and together we're going to make it through. So just want to go over a couple little logistics for the year. There are 4 major course units, and they're going to be labeled with A, B, and C, sometimes D, E, but the labeling system is very consistent, and each subunit will have its own quiz, and then we usually like to do a large unit test at the end of those. Now, another big thing is that we're going to be expanding your students' toolkit this year. Up until now, they've learned a lot of the fundamental building blocks of math, but I like to think of Algebra 2 as the time that they grow up as mathematicians, because they'll learn all new types of functions, they'll learn all new types of skills, and really this year is the foundation and the fundamentals of pre-calculus and calculus. So it's a pretty big year in terms of math. Now, the graphing calculator is something that I always get asked about. I say that it's not essential this year, but next year and the year after are probably going to be times when your student wants to have their own graphing calculator. So you should start considering buying a TI-84. That's kind of like the standard graphing calculator for all levels of math. So don't need a graphing calculator this year, but it certainly will help if they can start getting used to it, because they're going to use it more and more as the years go on. Okay. Instruction, organization, and grading. Oh my, there's a lot that's the same, and there's a lot that's different. So just briefly, I'll go over a couple things. Delta Math is one of the ways that we're going to be assigning homework this year. And Delta Math is an online platform. Let me take a quick tour of it with you. But this is what I see on my end of Delta Math. And this is homework assignment that was just done about a week ago. And you can see that I have access to a lot of different information. So some students, they had 5 problems to do and they completed all 5 of them right away. And I can actually see how long it took them to do that problem. Now, I also can see when they get a problem wrong. I can click into it and see what the specific problem was. And I can also check in with different students. So this student right here got 5 wrong and they still haven't gotten them right. So I'm going to check in with that student next time I see them. But the difference is that maybe I see a student like this, but then they got 5 correct in a row. So that student mastered the skill. So you can see there's a lot of great things on the back end for me. And if you just click into a correct answer, you can see that there is a fully done example out for them. And if they get it wrong, that example will still be there as well, so they can see the workflow of the problem. All right. Desmos is something I'll do a little quick look at here. Desmos is an online graphing calculator, and this is the back end for me. So I can actually see how they all did, what they chose to do with their graph. I can look at what moves they made. I can make suggestions to their graph. We can manipulate it. And I can even do a little survey and ask them what they thought of something. I can look and see, well, hey, check that out. They all got question 9 right. That's awesome. So I can look at different submissions. We can go back and I can use that tool live teaching, or I can have them do it for homework or an activity. So Desmos is a huge part of this year. Google Classroom is going to be their main source for their to-do list. So I'll be posting assignments. Sometimes like they're not even in Google Classroom, but the assignment is posted there, so it shows up in their to-do list. The students told me they really like that feature, so I'm going to use it. And that's also where they access their Google Meets, but I'm sure you've heard all that from other videos. Now, in terms of Power School, I'll be grading 1 to 2 times a week. And by grading, I mean updating the grade book, because students are handing in work at all times of the week, all times of the day, and it's kind of unrealistic for me to be able to plan, grade, and update Power School every single day. So I try and do it at least once a week, but sometimes I'll do it at least twice. So the other thing to really realize is that if you see a 0 in Power School for your student, that doesn't mean that they got a 0 and they can never get that credit back. I want them to do the practice. So we're going to get rid of the 0 as soon as they do the assignment, and I just want them to practice. So if they are a day or 2 late after the due date, I'm flexible with that because I want them to do the practice. Okay. The grading system this year is going to be total points. So if you see an assignment worth 5 points versus 30, you know that those two hold different importance levels. Okay. And you already saw the YouTube instructional videos by me. So I know that was sort of fast and a lot of info, but if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or even schedule a Google Meet with me, and I'd be happy to answer any questions and chat with you about your student and their progress. All right. Have a wonderful evening or morning or afternoon, whenever you're watching this, but have a great day or night.